Hey everyone, what's up? Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist. Appreciate you checking out the channel. Back today with another success story of a client that I worked with inside my Glute Relief Accelerator program. His name is Peter from the Bahamas, really chill guy, actually spearfishes for his dinner, very positive attitude, but that all changed and he was unable to do those things. Attitude went a bit south when he about 4 months ago, I guess, maybe 5 months ago at this point, started to experience some back pain, some butt pain, some leg pain. He was actually surfing, got hit by a wave, started to notice some SI joint issue, at least that's what he was told. Maybe he was also dealing with a disc problem. Doesn't really matter, as you'll learn at the end of the day, but had some type of back, butt, and sciatica problem, which really threw him for a loop. He had tried lots of YouTube stuff, confused the heck out of himself, made himself worse, tried local treatments, and lots of other stuff, and it just did not deliver the results that he was looking for. So I'm gonna let him share his story, and the reason I share these stories is because they often resonate with people, and maybe you can relate to some of the nuggets that he's about to share. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna let Pete take over here, share his success story, share his story of healing, and share his experience inside the Glute Relief Accelerator Program. Surfer Pete.
Dude. Hey, listen, let me just give you a brief history because we haven't spoke. Today's my last day, but so many things have happened, since the beginning. But you know what basically happened is at the beginning, I was doing all the testing. And from the minute I started, applying the things that I was learning from you, I started getting improvement. And every week when I would do my test, it would just get better and better and better. And a couple of things that really helped was like calming muddy waters, stop poking the angry bear, stop doing all these other things I was learning from the chiros and the orthos and all the rest of the guys. And it's just like, yeah, and then I'd say about 6 weeks into the program, you encouraged me to try surfing. Then I went surfing the first time. It was quite painful. But then when I got out, I walked on the beach. I walked it off kind of. And then I would only go like once a week. I would go surfing. And every week it got better and better and better. And then it got to the point where I didn't work for about 3 months, and I had the opportunity to take this job. And so I had to go full force into this work project because I needed the money, man. I didn't work for 3 months, but the good thing was I made some changes. I hired an extra guy to do all my lifting, and I just started working smarter. And in time, just the regular motions of surfing and working, I got to the point where I really didn't have any yucky motions at all. I mean, I'm like 95%. The only reason I say I'm not 100% is because in the back of your mind, there's still that little mental thing that says, be careful, Pete, So the reason I was telling you all this stuff is because I'm not doing anything on the program right now. I finally got back into my stretching routine. I'm pretty much doing most of the pain pattern 1 movements.
Yep.
Because most of my movements were the backwards one that I needed to do because the forward ones were the yucky ones,
Yep.
So the pain pattern 1 was kind of like working for me. So I'm not a real technical person. I'm not a real school person. I'm like really old fashioned. So I just wanted to tell you all this stuff because I really didn't come on here to get any schooling, but I just wanted to ask you a few more questions before I leave. And I'm just glad that I got in contact with you because I've learned a lot of things that I really need to know moving forward in case I ever get hurt again. At least I'll know the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
cool.
I thought I had it under control, but I didn't know as much as I thought that I knew. And then one other thing was the mental part of it too, because for me, I'm not trying to get into my life story, but I had a really rough childhood with my old man was very abusive. Yeah. And we grew up in a total fearful situation. And so I grew up in fear. And so I've kind of had that in the back of my mind, but after kind of going through that stuff, I'm not saying it brought a finality to it, but at least I better understand that that stuff still plays a role in your thinking and in your life. And just to go through that a little bit, like, and that stuff really, it kind of hit home a little bit. Like, I didn't have that much of the mental problem. My problem was really very physical, but the mental was definitely there a little bit. And so I'm just glad I learned that too, because it helps, you know? And so I'm not trying to cry about my past or nothing, but it's kind of becomes part of you. So, and it was kind of good because my wife, sometimes she doesn't really understand because she never had an upbringing like that. So when I let her go through all that stuff and read it too, so she would better understand how that could affect me with my pain experience, you know? And so all that stuff, just put all that stuff together. And I really believe that's what helped me to get to where I'm at today. Because right now, I was working the last 3 days with cement all day. And I'm 65, pushing it to the limit. And I don't really feel any pain at all.
Yeah. Really cool, dude. So the program was helpful?
Well, totally. I mean, totally, because there's a lot of it just helped me. I always knew that there was a connection between the mental and the physical, because I always used to say, in order to get rid of one pain, you have to get a new one. So if it was physical, that wouldn't be possible. I just didn't know how to make the connection, you know? And then, of course, I was following all that stuff on YouTube, and that stuff had me there. I learned some things from them, I learned some things, but then a lot of the things that they were putting out there, I wasn't really ready for that at that time. And I was trying to, because most people, they want to get well really quick, Charlie. And you just have to give your body some time and listen to your body. And then you could gradually start working into the movement.
Yep. Totally. Cool, man. Really neat, dude. Well, hey, I'm proud of you for doing the work, man, because I know we haven't chatted that much, but you devoted yourself to studying the concepts, right? Took what we were teaching about the mind, took what we were teaching about the body, and I would agree, right? You had a very clear structural problem, disc problem, right? Most likely. But you still saw value in the psychological side of things. And I think that's really important, because a lot of people poo-poo that, right? They say, oh, I know it's this problem, and that doesn't mean anything for me. It's like, if you're a human and you're going to experience some type of pain now and probably in the future, right? You're 65, you still got some years left here. And it's like, you probably have some type of ache or pain somewhere else, right? I think you really should know this stuff, right? And so I think that's, I heard a couple takeaways. That was one of them. But number one, I heard you say that, hey, you used movement as medicine, and that if you had a little bit of a yucky movement experience, maybe some of the surfing, right? You followed that by a yummy input, walking on the beach. That's cool, right? So you took your movement pill afterwards to neutralize the yuckiness. You also said working smarter, not harder, right? So it sounds like when you were going to Cairo, when you were doing all the YouTube stuff, right? Like you were trying on all this stuff and they were trying to have you do all this stuff. And it was a lot of inputs, but not a lot of output, meaning not a lot of relief. It wasn't really working, right? And so it's like work smarter, be more scientific, not work harder. And then the other thing, which was really cool, is that use some basic logic. If righty equals tighty, lefty equals loosey. And so you discovered through the pain patterns, right? The combination of your story, what started it, how long you've been in pain, the location of your symptoms, what felt yummy, what felt yucky, to say, hey, obviously with our guidance, but like, I think that I'm most likely to respond to this direction of motion. And then you leaned into that, right? By the way, it was the opposite of your yuckiest motion. So you didn't like moving your body forward. So if forward equals yucky, if right equals tighty, what's the opposite? Well, then backwards might equal yummy, right? And so you started to try these things on systematically. And instead of doing a million things, right, we're able to do kind of just the things that you found work best for you and kind of cut the fat. So it goes back to working smarter, not harder. And then also studying the role of the mind, right, on pain and how powerful that can be. And even if maybe it wasn't the primary driver of your symptoms, really seeing the value in just like big picture, how some of that could play into like your experience as a human. And so I appreciate you just not overlooking that and saying, screw that, that doesn't apply to me, because it does. And a lot of people do that. And so I just want to say, man, I'm proud of you for putting in the work. And you went from not being able to do a whole lot to now getting back to work and doing things. So bravo there.
Yeah, and the one other thing that really helped me too is that testing. Because whenever I started surfing, I would go back and test. So that testing is like brilliant, because if you don't have any way to like compare it or gauge something, I don't know if that's the right wording, but just being able to go through your movements, you feel pain, you go back and test, and it gives you some kind of something, a starting point, a boundary, something to go from.
Yep. Yeah.
It really made a big difference. And then I got to tell you, when I let my wife read that stuff, it helped too, because I'm a married man. I have a wife. She sees me suffering. And when I told her to read the stuff, she benefited too.
Yep.
And you know, the funny thing about it, Charlie, we live in a world, you talk about that old paradigm.
Yep.
Dude, that stuff has got a stronghold on people's thinking. And I got to tell you, I got two of my friends. Robert, he's a photographer, he lives in West Palm Beach. His daughter is going to college to be a PT.
Yep.
Another friend of mine, Mike Beck from Santa Cruz, California. He's here now too. His son is going to study to be a PT. And in my mind, I'm just thinking about, like, these kids are going to be going to school, but what are they going to be? What are they going to be taught? I know there's basic things you have to learn to be a PT. You got to learn about the body, the anatomy, and certain different things. But the old paradigm, I know there's some benefits to it, Charlie, but there's a different way of thinking and a different way of healing that the majority of the world is not aware of. And it's just like, I kind of felt sorry for them and their kids, because I'm thinking they're going to go to school and spend all this money, and they're not really going to be progressive and moving into a different era. And it's just kind of sad, and I didn't want to tell them that, because I don't want to make the people feel bad. And then even a couple of my friends got back injuries. Another friend of mine got a hip injury. I was trying to tell them about the program, but people just don't get it, man.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Are you telling me that?
No, it's just amazing. It's like the lemmings. It's like the blind leading the blind. And it's, it's like, if all these things don't work, then why not try something new? If it's not helping, why not try? Like, this guy just came from Santa Cruz, and his wife, I was trying to tell him about the way I got well. And the guy completely, matter of fact, I think he got upset and felt offended, because just by telling him what I did, kind of made him, instead of, I think he wasn't very humble about, I think he got kind of mad at me, and I haven't talked to him since. I wasn't putting him down or nothing, but he, just by telling him how well I feel after my injury, and he's got a problem, but he's not getting well. And I was trying to tell him, about the program, but his wife's like, oh, that sounds great. But he's like a stubborn, I don't know, man. People are just something else, Charlie. Humans can really be something else, man,
Story of my life.
No,
Right?
but it's what it is, Charlie. You know it as well as I know. It's all part of it. The system of things, the governments, the insurance companies, the pharmaceuticals. It's a system that's designed to milk the people. It's a system that's designed to not really be looking out for the best interest of the people. It's just become a big money thing. It's sad to say, but that's just the way it really is. And people have been conditioned to think that this is the way. I hear people talking, like, I was listening to some of these people on the program and all the money they've spent trying to get well. And I was telling this guy, I'm like, well, I never even went and got an MRI. Well, he's like, how did you know that you had this problem? I go, well, there's certain symptoms. I forgot what that thing's called, where you could tell by the symptoms. Like, I had the pain, the sciatic pain running down my knee into my big toe. And I did my little test, and I come to the conclusion it was L4, L5 disc herniation,
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, man. I'm just glad that but on one other note, though, while I'm just thinking about those, Charlie, because you mentioned that you really like to take in knowledge about different things. You even shot some stuff out there about some of the proverbs or some of the things you were learning from different things, because you felt like it would be beneficial to everybody.
Yep.
In life.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, I don't know if you're a religious person, but in many ways, Charlie, religion is part of it too. I just had to throw this out there because it's important to me. And I know you love your wife, and I know you love your daughter, and you love people. You wouldn't be in this business if you didn't care about people. And so all the changes that I've made in my life, it just made me a better person.
Yep.
And that's why when I go on the program, I care about, I don't really know those people, Charlie, in your program.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good people out there that are suffering, man.
Yeah.
And in this world, the bottom line is we may get well temporarily, but unfortunately, eventually all of us are going to die at some point.
Yep.
We don't know how, and we don't know when.
Yep.
But we know eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Well, hey, look, I'm really glad we crossed paths, man. And I just appreciate your input too and your feedback, because I think that you get it, man. And every day is you can see I care about people. Some people think I'm trying to scam them. I'm not trying to scam anybody. I just because I have a different way of viewing things doesn't mean that there's a scam artist within me, right? And so it's just like I definitely am going against the grain a bit, and you get that. You see how your buddy reacted to you when you chatted with him, right? But there is, I think, a truth there that unfortunately just a lot of people are stuck in that old paradigm, that old worldview, and they're not able to, for whatever reason, conditioning by society, the system, they're not able to see it. And so even if I can plant just a little seed, right, for them to say, I think that guy's still a scammer. I think, I don't want to do that, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. That's fine. It's not working. It doesn't make sense, but keep doing it. Right. But there's something about that conversation I had that maybe every once in a while pops in their head, right, and allows them to start to maybe challenge their traditional way of going about solving, in this case, pain, problem, but more just life in general, the way they go about it.
Only certain people that get it will appreciate it and accept it.
Yeah.
But you're not looking for the masses. You're looking for the people that want to help themselves. And that's the most important part.
Yep. Yeah. Really cool, man. Good stuff.
That's all right. I know you got another coaching thing going on now. So listen, we'll catch up. Thanks a million. All the best. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope all the best for you and your family moving forward.
Cool. Well, hey, man, thanks. Go catch a fish, okay?
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, so there you have it. From the Bahamas, everyone, dealing with back, butt, sciatica problems that would not quit no matter what he tried. And the moment he began following the process, the 4-step pain relief process that we outlined inside of the Glute Relief Accelerator Program, is the moment that everything started to change and move in the right direction for him. So if you're interested in learning a different approach, because you're trying lots of stuff, and you're just confused, all the information out there, all the different things you could try and do, and you're getting different opinions, and you're just feeling stuck, nothing's working, then be sure to check out the free workshop that I created that kind of gives you an eye into the way that we approach healing, the way that I recommend you approach healing if you're dealing with these issues, and how you can get started on the right foot. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed. Chat soon.